Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. So just a few slides on something a little bit different. As you know, at Microsoft, I am part of the intellectual property group. Our mission is really to make sure that Microsoft can enter new businesses, innovate without a threat from competitors or other IP owners. But we also try to take a broader perspective on IP issues and trying to capture also the perspective of our customers. And what we see is that we are entering a fourth industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution was the steam engine, which led to a number of changes. Then you had electricity, IT. Maybe I have to step away a little bit from the speakers. And we are entering now a fourth industrial revolution. I think we are all experiencing that. Certainly the examples that were given with the cars, with Uber and others, soon the connected cars, is a good example of that. But in every industry, if you take, for instance, manufacturing with 3D printing, new materials, even biology or pharmaceuticals with the role of bioinformatics. In other domains, with the Internet of Things, financial technologies, all these industries are transforming. And this transformation has one thing in common. Each time it's powered by the cloud. Cloud computing is at the center of this fourth revolution. Increasingly, every company is transforming into a software company. Each company has to learn to create new innovations. These innovations will be embodied into a software form, and this software will run increasingly in a public cloud environment, in a cloud computing environment. This creates opportunities for every company to make new products, empower its employees in different ways, engage with customers in different ways. Everything is going faster. The average age of companies is going shorter. The leaders of tomorrow maybe don't exist today. As a consequence, each company has to transform, adapt to this new reality, or maybe face the risk of disappearing. If we take for another example in elevators, ThyssenKrupp is a well-known company doing elevators. One of their area of innovation now is predictive maintenance, and they are using technologies enabled by the cloud to manage their elevators, predict which ones will fail, send their employees to the elevators which need maintenance first, and in this way make sure that they have less downtime. As you can see, these new activities are only possible with the cloud orchestrating these new activities. Computing used to be done mostly in on-premise environment, each company having its own data center. Increasingly, computing is done with the data centers of others. Either in the public cloud or in what is called a private cloud, so maybe a cloud hosted in a particular country. From a legal perspective, this transformation creates new challenges. Each company becoming a digital company has to learn on how to manage the software that it uses, that it creates. It has also to learn to manage the data that it handles. From a legal perspective, we talk a lot about data protection measures which are necessary. I would like to talk a little bit here today about the intellectual property aspects which are necessary as part which are necessary to control, to manage as part of this digital transformation. As the economic importance of the cloud grows, the intellectual property risks to this environment grow as well. If you look at the number of patent litigation relating to cloud technologies, they have increased year over year. If you look also at the number of patents being transferred to non-practicing entities, patents reading on cloud technologies, they have steadily increased as well. I assume most of you are familiar with the term non-practicing entities. Just for clarity, these are entities which buy a patent portfolio, aggregate them, so that they can extract royalties from operating companies. This aspect here, I'm not sure how to use the pointer, there you go, shows that the NPEs are very rational, they follow the money, and as the importance of the cloud increases, then they get ready to assert against this environment. So as part of what our customers should do, what companies transforming should do, they should put in place, they should develop their IP management practices. First, to secure their own innovation, but also working with their suppliers, working with third parties, as was said earlier, to make sure that they understand what kind of software they use. When we look at the risk profile of our customers can be liable for different aspects. They can be liable for their own products, for the things they create, and they can be also liable for whatever they use from their suppliers, from an IP perspective. As a supplier, it is very typical to give IP indemnification to a customer, basically protecting the customer from assertions from third parties on the product or the service you supply. In the cloud computing environment, most of the services that are provided are based on open source. From that perspective, it's very important also to be able to get protection for not only the service which is provided at a high level, but also for the open source which powers it underneath. And so from that perspective, Microsoft provides such protection, not only on the service we provide, but also on the open source underneath. What we have done also to make sure that our customers get suitable for protection when they are in the cloud environment, Microsoft has announced that we are sharing 10,000 of our patents with our customers to augment their own patent portfolio in a defensive manner. You talked earlier about the importance of having a defensive patent portfolio. Very often, most companies won't have a defensive portfolio which is relevant for the cloud. Here, the idea is to enable our customers with such a portfolio in a turnkey manner. So, key takeaways today. As IP practitioners, it is important to understand what is the digital transformation that I talked about and how it's going to impact maybe your industry or the industries of your clients. Work with your clients to assess their IP protection mechanisms and their IP strategy more generally, including for the assets that are running in a cloud computing environment. And work with your client to build on such a plan, assess their suppliers, assess their methodologies. Thank you.